Hello there, my Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising Venus signs. Welcome to your Path of True Love read for March 2020, though timeless. Whenever you're catching it is when you're supposed to catch it. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of Joining the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and damn Skippy. Happy to be working for you today, considering we're going to be doing our first official Drunk Tarot Super Live Chat tonight, Sake edition, March 1st. I don't know if we're going to do it on the 1st of every month or what, but it just worked out that way. So I'm actually sober at the moment and very, very happy to get some readings done beforehand, sort of warm up as it were. If you are new to my channel, please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment as you like, because I'm fun. And as long as everybody's, nice to each other, anybody being, dickly, mean, assholey, gone. That's how that works. Because I'm walking the path of true love, and chances are you are too if you're watching this vid. Let's get down to business, though. This is a general read. Please take what resonates and leave what doesn't, particularly on the path of true love, particularly for a path of true love reading. And that's why I do the other signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and I try and keep them informative and entertaining so that it's not like a drag, Some readings are more fun than others, but hey, that's how the cards hit the table. So let's have fun with this, because the path of true love is your path, right? It's it's the path of your relationships, but it's sort of like the hero's journey, the healing journey, your spiritual path, your spiritual evolution, seen through the lenses of your relationships and all different kinds of relationships. So what I like about the path of true love reads, verses, not over or under, the twin flames or the soulmate reads that I do separately, is those are soul contracts. This is about you, right? So even if other people are indicated here, it doesn't matter. This is your path. So I kind of dig that, and that's why I'm glad the guides told me to use the Celtic cross spread again. It is my favorite. It's such a classic, but we're adding a couple of clarifying cards before and after. So you'll get 2 cards before the spread, 20 cards in the Celtic cross, because we'll be using 2 decks simultaneously for the 10 positions of the Celtic cross, and then 2 cards to end with. So it's 24 in total. Takes about an hour. Let's see how we do. Cool. Most important thing, please remember to breathe. The more we breathe conscious, you're going to breathe anyway, but the more we breathe consciously and deliberately, and you are an air sign, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Aquarius, right? Brings you in the present moment, right? To focus on your breath, you need to come into the present moment, at least for that moment, and ring the silent bell of your heart where the divine resides, like doorbell, ding dong, so that because I'm going to do it too, as I'm doing it, then my heart opens, the divine gives me the words, the images, the clairvoyant, the clairaudient, the whole 9, so that I can give you the best that I can. But if you're doing the same, you're tuning to that same source. We all come from the same source, right? So just focus on the breath as we go. Cool. Take a nice deep breath. Here we go. We're going to start with the Caroline Myss archetype cards. All the decks that I read are in the description box at the bottom. Have fun going down there, because there's a lot of cool links that I have in there. My books, my other videos on Vimeo, classes I've taught and stuff that you can buy. Cool. So let's do this. Let's find out how you're doing on the path of true love. Still point. My collective pantheon of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, I need just one card, one archetype card. What is the dominant soul power or archetype being alchemized from lead to gold, brought from shadow to light, on the path of true love for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign for March 2020, please, and timeless. Let's not forget timeless. Okay, so before I flip this card over, the way these cards work is that written on them is a shadow attribute and a light attribute, because archetypes are neutral. They are powers, just like any other power. Oh, I had a lighter here before. I could have flicked my Bic and said good or evil, right? Light or shadow. It depends on what you do with it, right? So the path of true love being about how you learn, heal, grow, and become true love, right? The divine love that is that still point, but to become that fully. We're going to have to look at the shadow and the light. The shadow is supposed to be triggery, so if you get triggered, don't freak out. It's okay. This is all in the collective unconscious, right? We all take our piece to process and heal in this lifetime. And a lovely one, I think, although the shadow on this one's a bit intense, the mother archetype, one of the divine feminine family, but certainly you do not have to be born in a female body to have the mother archetype. I have the mother archetype. I help mothers. I heal I would say 85 to 90% of my clientele are mothers. And there's things in my childhood, even down to my birth, that come to that. So, and I'm so close with my mom still to this day, even though we're hundreds of miles away from each other, right? So you can, because mothers don't, you can be the mother of a company, right? You can, the language of pregnancy, my God, they're like chatty. It's the collective pantheons with this card. They're saying, you know, the language of creativity and the language of pregnancy are the same. You conceive, right? You gestate, you carry, you labor, and then you give birth to something, right? So whether it's dinner, an art performance, anything that you can create goes through that process, then you are a mother of that. So let's look at the archetype. Now, the shadow in particular is a little mommy dearest, but it's supposed to be, right? The shadow attribute, smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. It happens, right? Empty nest syndrome ain't fun. I know what it's like after I do a great big project, right? A big production of some kind or other, and afterwards I'm like, oh, that was so great, but now I don't know. You know, it's like, it's the afterbirth, I guess. Oh, it's not a pretty image, but you know what I'm talking about. Placenta et al. So the light attribute is what you're shooting for here. Nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. But remember, that need not be literal. If it is literal, if like you're trying to get pregnant, you want to get pregnant, you are a mother, you have kids, that's a bonus that it will click that way. But then this might not be about your romantic sexual relationships on the path of true love. But if it is, if you find, like, because there are cards in these decks that will bring that up, like one's called romance and one called oh, what is it? Orgasm, right? It's like, yeah, I don't think that's symbolic always. So if it is that, then you run the risk of playing the mother role in a romantic sexual relationship, whether you're male or female. And believe me, I'm a gay male. People want me to be daddy. I'm like, wait till they find out deep down I'm really mommy. I just look like a daddy, and I guess act like one. Although I'm wearing cashmere black hoodie, like my jewelry, eyeliner, and makeup. Okay, so there's one of our vibe cards, right? Sort of a opinion to hold this reading in place to refer back to. We're going to get one more of those before we do the 10 cards of the Celtic Spread from the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. Oh, 4 suits in this pack. Half of the deck is the suit of problems, because you want to know what the problem is on the path of true love. If you can spot it, you know, you got it in that sense. But the other half of the deck is the suit of healing, the suit of grace, and the suit of luck, which are sort of remedies in a way, right? So let's see what the Ascended Masters say. That was my collective pantheon, that mother archetype card. These are the Ascended Masters, those who've already played the game of humanity, graduated, and are reaching back through the dimensions of time and space to assist those still in the game. Nice, deep breath, my aqua lungs. Oh, my Ascended Masters, please, just one card. The problem, the luck, the grace, or the healing for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love for March 2020, please. I love my Aquarians. What do you got for them? Please, something nice and gentle. Ah, we've got a problem card. Mistake. Now, look, We all believe we've made mistakes. Hell, we'll have people testify that we've made mistakes. We can have, you know, photo and video evidence in the world, the third dimensional world, of things that are mistakes. But the truth of the matter is that even our mistakes are part of the divine plan, part of the learning curve. It's sort of like when a bone breaks and then heals, the site of the break is stronger than it was before the bone broke. And that's just true. It's like that. Some things we have to make the wrong choices to learn the new choice, right? We have to learn, oh, that's what we're supposed to do. Even when we think we know better, we can still default. So there's this wonderful spiritual truth that from the cosmic point of view, from the divine point of view, because there's a difference between seeing things spiritually and seeing things from the divine, from the angels, from the God's point of view, and all of that. You haven't done anything wrong. This is a game, honey. This is all scripted. And yes, so let's say you don't make the mistake, then you go this way instead of that way, then another quantum variant shoots off and makes the mistake. So it all gets done anyway. So that's why I always tell people, if you want to deepen your experience of spirituality to the point where you can relax a bit, study the quantum. You go, oh, this is a fucking game. It's like, yeah, so play. I was at a dinner party last night. I made bolognese for friends. It was lovely. And they were like, oh, like new people who hadn't met me yet were like, oh, you're so cool, you're so... I'm like, it's because I've been to hell and back and I've decided I can be a martyr or a hedonist about this. Let's be a hedonist. And drunk tarot tonight. All right, let's get down to business. We're going to shuffle both of these decks at once. Not together, but you know what I mean. Daughters of the Moon Tarot will represent the voices of my gods and goddesses. How exciting. The Healing with the Angel Oracles, Doreen Virtue, will be for the angels. So what we're going to do is I'm going to program these top 10 cards for the top positions of the Celtic Cross. I'll do the same with that one, and then we're going to pull both cards at the same time. It's kind of fun. I dig it. Nice deep breath. Oh, my gods and goddesses sacred, please, top 10 cards. Celtic Cross spread for this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, on the path of true love for March 2020, though timeless. Whenever they're supposed to see it is when they're supposed to see it. Please, what's going on for them? Where are they? Show me the path of true love for my Aquarian friends and family members in the great quantum fieldness of it all. Please, my God. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, sign Aquarius. Clean cut, please. Maiden, Mother, Crone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Path of True Love 2020 March. We're going to do the same for the angels. Just do it again. It'll only take a minute. My angels, hi, I love you guys. Please, top 10 cards, Celtic Cross, work with the gods and goddesses here for this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, on the path of true love. March 2020, please. Top 10 cards, please. I hear you. That was easy. Maiden, Mother, Crone. I really should say thrones, powers, dominions when I do that with the angels, but you're with me. Now, we still have 2 more decks to go, but we'll do those after. Let's get going. There's a link in the description box below clarifying how I read the Celtic Cross. Everybody reads it differently, where the positions go, what the meanings are, because it's a really kind of, I don't want to say ancient, but maybe it is at this point, an ancient tarot spread. So if you don't like my meanings, go watch the video. It explains why I do them the way they do, because I'm a Virgo. I've thought it out. Here we go. First card down is the cover, the significator, the card that represents you, the Aquarian I'm reading. And you've got the High Priestess with Nature. Now, the High Priestess, obviously, major arcana deck. Second one of the Fool's Journey through the deck. But here, this is feeling deep about intuition. And with the card Nature paired with it, yeah, that can be about trees and beaches and all of that stuff, getting rustic. But it feels like this is more about not just your... oh, that's a really interesting way to say it. Not just your intuitive nature, but your divine feminine nature in the form of the virgin. Now, virgin doesn't mean that you haven't had sex necessarily. I mean, maybe you haven't. Maybe you have. I don't know you. You don't know me. I've had sex. This is more along the lines, it's feeling of that part of you that belongs to the divine, that cannot be owned by anybody. And let's face it, Aquarians, You're a little hard to pin down. Yes, you can be committal when you're ready, but everybody else you tend to hold at an arm's distance. Virgin territory. Carolyn May said once about the virgin archetype, which the virgin archetype must be part of the high priestess, right? The most beautiful woman on planet Earth that no man can touch or have because she belongs to the gods, right? Born virgin, serves as a virgin. She said, like, with a stick of butter, like, if there are cuts and breadcrumbs on it, she's not interested. She wants her own stick of butter. And I was like, oh my God, I felt naked. I like the little ones that you unwrap. The little teeny tiny ones. It's like, what are you, schiving me with family? It's so Italian, right? It's like, I don't want your crumbs and your knife slobber on my butter, right? So that's sort of almost like a purity thing, right? So yes, of course we're all going to be more intuitively tuned in nature if we are talking about, you know, James Redfield, Celestine Prophecy, Chapter 5, Message of the Mystic, staring at trees, breathing, building energy. Great, right? I love to go to the beach. I love to go to forests and arboretums and do magic, pray, and all that stuff. But on the path of true love, this really feels more like this isn't so much about the external manifestation of nature as much as it is about your own internal, intuitive, and in a way, virginal. Because the high priestess is always a virgin, right? The empress is the card of the mother, so you have the maid and the mother, and in this deck, the hermit, the kaliach, the wise one is the crone. So, pretty good start, because I know Aquarians don't like to be owned. I've dated all of the gay ones on Long Island that I'm aware of. Great friends, though. Wonderful friends. Let's look, since that's you, what's the cross? What's the situation that you're in, the environment that you find yourself in? All right, burnout, the Eight of Flames, right? Eight of Flames with divine guidance. Now, the thing about the card of burnout, because that's what's written on the card, think for a moment of the Rider-Waite deck, right? Those wands, sort of either, it depends on the tilt of the card, right? Whether they're taking off or landing, but everybody says very fast-moving energy. Well, think of burnout in terms of a forest fire, right? Like if it hasn't rained in a few months and there's a spark of some kind, one tiny spark can take out, it's such a horrible image. I love trees. It kills me to see fire, the forest fires like that. But, you know, it's fast, right? It moves quickly. So there does feel like you're in a situation where things are moving quickly. And if you are overcommitted, saying yes when you really need to say no, like if your solar plexus is saying, I don't want to do this, but you say yes anyway, sure, there can be a thing of burning the candles at both ends and burning out in that sense. But with divine guidance there, two interpretations come to mind. One is pay attention to the divine guidance. If something's telling you don't do it, slow. If you're hearing slow down, if that's the divine guidance, then is all guidance divine guidance? Maybe. But this is really the angels saying it's okay that this is going so fast around you. Slow down. Or the guidance that is coming to you is of such a high vibration right now as the high priestess, because why wouldn't the high priestess be trucking in divine guidance? Well, then it's coming in hot and fast this month on the path of true love. Still can mean just because you're getting divine guidance doesn't mean that you should necessarily impulsively act on it. Slow your roll. And that's what I like about Aquarians. Fixed air. Oh, you can get the inspiration and the idea, and it may be freaky deaky to everybody else around them, but to them they can be like, you know, I'm just gonna focus on this for a bit. Let's focus on this. Don't have to immediately put it into action like a mutable air sign. There is only one mutable air sign. It's like the Geminis will do, right? Squirrel, butterfly, right? So really interesting beginning. Let's look what's at the core, the subconscious influence. What's going on, the voice of the soul in a way. What's going on inside of you? Oh, lovely. Six of Cups, compassion with retreat. So there may be a strong call inward. See, where I am on Long Island, we have seasons, and it's the beginning of March. It's still cold here. Like, today it was like 38 degrees outside. I don't know, it's not horrible, but, you know, I had to bundle up to go get the sake for Super Live Chat tonight. So excited. So I get that call inward, but a call inward for emotional balance, self-compassion, I'm going to say, because there is a card of retreat here, which certainly feels like pulling into yourself. But that's what I love about my Aquarians. Like, I have agreements with all my Aquarian friends. It's like, let's hang out, but, you know, you let me know, because if you need time, you don't have to explain. I love you. Just, you know, if you need me, I'm here, right? Because Aquarians just don't pull back. They pull up, right? Like, they see things from such a higher perspective that they seem like freaks to other people, but they're not. They're just seeing the bigger picture of things, where details like when and where to be when and where could be a little tricky for them. So to take some time for your emotional nurturance, your own emotional healing, your own emotional balance, 6 is a number of harmony in that way, then there's really some lovely energy there, particularly if the divine guidance and burnout thing does indicate more of a burnout. Now, I just watched it. Look, I'm doing the Wim Hof method, WIMHOF. If you're not familiar with it, really seriously Google it. Hundreds of videos on YouTube. But one of them I watched last night that was really, really good. It said how the Wim Hof method helps with burnout. And they were really making some interesting parallels between clinical depression and burnout. Now, not the same thing, but symptomatically. And I was very interested by that. So that idea of pulling back if you are burned out, not just like from work or from whatever, but it can be that the body's not getting the rest that it needs, or the emotions are not being given the opportunity to express their voices, hence come into balance. Like, you can be depressed, you can be angry, you can be anything that you're feeling, but it doesn't have to run the show, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't have its voice and its opportunity to be heard by you, right? But you don't have to do that on social media. You can retreat. So there's definitely some good self-love here just in these 3 cards, particularly with that High Priestess, if that really is virgin in the sense of you only dealing with you. Now, you're going to have all sorts of relationships for the month of March, but this is highlighting perhaps mothering yourself as the result of something you believe to be a mistake. Because when a kid makes mistakes, right? When a kid, like, can't ride the bike day one, right? It's like, what does a good mom do? It's like, honey, you'll get it eventually. Everybody falls their first day, right? My mom certainly did. So she's a nursery school teacher. She knew, right? So it's interesting. You've got the mother and in a sense, the High Priestess is the maiden. But you have to say then the holy maiden, or the sacred maiden, the divine maiden. And by the way, the goddess Isis, which is so interesting because she's a mother goddess. So... But for the High Priestess, we're going to go with it. All right? Let's see. What's in your behind? Such a direct question. The past position. I call it your behind. What's in the behind? Well, 10 of Blades. And I love it in this deck. It's the rattle, the ceremony of passing the talking stick, the rattle. So everybody gets their chance to speak and everybody gets their chance to be heard. With music, I find interesting. Now, this card is not one of my favorites, but we'll get to it. Let's get to this one first. 10 of Blades in most tarot decks are a fucking nightmare, right? Face down, in a puddle of mud, 10 swords in your back. Well, at least it's over, right? And that's the idea with the sun starting to break through the clouds in the distance. Rider-Waite deck usually, right? This is different. This is about all the pieces of the puzzle mentally hitting the table. Like, once a tarot spread is completely laid out, it's like, okay, now we know what this is, which is why I usually do an overview at the end, explaining the story as we go, but then looking at, again, you'll love this, Aquarians, the bigger picture. What does it all say together, in a sense? So there's been some sort of mental resolution within yourself, but with the card of music, there's so many different interpretations to that to try and say it's only one is ridiculous. But I'll put it to you this way. Every song has a beginning, a middle, and end, obviously. Different parts of it, the chorus, the bridge, the verses. But at the end, it leaves you differently than how the song started, hopefully. I know certain songs are like that for me. Tend to be focused around certain female vocalists, right? Stevie Nicks, Kate Bush. They're just so Pat Benatar, Joan Jett. I listen to a lot of female artists. Who's my Sheryl Crow? Sheryl Crow Globe Sessions in the 90s was like my life on a CD. Oh, I can't believe I left the ringer on my phone. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back. That's why the gods created video editing. So getting back to this card of music, like the songs that bring resolution to our lives, right? The albums, that sort of thing. That you've been through a journey that has a beginning, a middle, and end, and now a song is over. Either that, or if you have any kind of musical skill, ability, like I can't play the piano to save my life. I mean, maybe Three Blind Mice if there was a gun to my head, but nothing more. I can do the doot 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 part of Heart and Soul, but that's it. Not musically inclined, brilliant singer, vocally trained, but you know, I can write lyrics and stuff. I'm verbal, but I don't identify as a musician really in any way that way. But if that is in there, then there's some resolution that goes along with that. Like if you've been writing music, lyrics, what have you, even performing, that there's been something in there that has given you some pieces of the puzzle, perhaps allowing your voice to be heard in a way that it had not before, that brings you into this place in a way of sort of like being a divine channel, right? A divine channel of your own intuitive nature, bringing you more into alignment with the soul that you truly are. Right? It's like we can identify as the personality, we can identify as the soul, right? The ego is the collective program of fear and separation that we're all dealing with here. But there's something about music that speaks sometimes to the soul, that allows it to express itself and put us more into alignment with our own divine nature, which I think divine nature, the pure, untouched, in a sense, virginal, unowned by anyone or anything aspect of self, the soul. Very, very cool. Like I said, that card of music is not my favorite because it's a little vague. Even the description in the book, it's like, it's okay. It just doesn't really speak to me. And I will not take a card out of a deck just because I don't get it or like it. You know what I mean? It's not fair. Let's keep going. Your fifth position is the crown. What's coming in, right? Like what is, the satellite dish is open. What's the transmission that's coming in next? And kind of represents the immediate future. Right? Not exactly the sixth position, which will be what's before you on the path, but more like what's hovering, getting ready to land, right? Fifth position, your crown. Well, here we go. We've got the Two of Cups with freedom. Now, Two of Cups, so traditionally seen as the romance card. I get it. But let's keep in mind, it's a two. Like, I don't care if other readers say, that's the true love card. That's how they read. That's fine. But for me, it's a two. Like, if you're going to talk the consummation of true love, you're looking at the Ten of Cups at least, right? For me, that's just how I read. The Two of Cups, being that it's the whirlpool in this deck, I want you to think of two cups in a whirlpool, as far away as possible, but gradually being drawn together through a power of emotional attraction, right? That centrifugal force, yes, centripetal pushes, centrifugal pulls. My mom's going to be so angry that I can't remember that. I remember stalagmites and stalactites, because when the mites go up, the tights go down, but mnemonic devices fail me sometimes. The Two of Cups with freedom there then definitely says that something is now coming in, a very freeing attraction to another person, an emotional attraction. Now, does that have to be romantic? Could be, but with that card of freedom, perhaps if you have this resolution that you wanted, you were heard, whether you got closure or not is a totally different story. But with this divine guidance and this retreat, the next thing going on may be giving you the freedom to feel an attraction or to respond to an attraction like you could not have done before. Yeah, there might have been tears predicating this sort of thing to suddenly then be free of that emotional weight and baggage to then say, no, my heart is called to this. Let's keep it general for right now. Person, place, or thing. This could be about someone in your family. This could be about a friend. But I think already you might know who that's who's in your energy field that way. Doesn't mean it couldn't be somebody brand new. But also keep in mind, because my hands are right by the card, you're still the mother archetype. That's what you're developing here. So to really focus on the nurturance, the patience, the unconditional love, the joy in giving birth to life, and the joy of giving birth to whatever this is. It's only a two. Let's let it mature and see what happens. But with that weight of mistakes on you, I don't think that card means that you're going to make a mistake. I mean, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But that says to me more like you're afraid of making mistakes. That's the problem. It's like, well, I did this before and it was such a mistake. But did the mistake serve your spiritual growth in some way? And if you immediately say no, the answer is probably yes. Because you don't want to look at how the mistakes you've made actually made you better, stronger in a lot of ways. I know, but that's forgiveness, right? That's the spiritual paradigm. I'm a spiritual teacher as well as a reader. Because I've been to hell and back. So many times I have the easy pass, the River Styx easy pass, although hell and the underworld are not the same. in my book. Although Tartarus kind of sucks, but you know you can get out of Tartarus. It does have a rehab a rehab program. Freudian slip. Let's look at the sixth position then, shall we? What's before you, right? What's before you on the path? Sort of the next thing coming after that Two of Cups with freedom. Well, that makes sense. The Nine of Blades, criticism, right? You're going to think about it. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean being critical, like being nasty about it, being picky about it, but really focusing in. Like, think of the Nine of Blades, the Nine of Swords. Right? And then the Rider Waite Tarot, crying, can't stop thinking, obsessive thought, which, you know, makes sense, but it's the predicate, it happens before the 10, so it's interesting that you've got this resolution in the past there in your behind, and what's coming for you is a different sort of refocusing your thoughts. Now, you are an air sign and you are fixed air, so you might have an easier time with this than most people. It might be more normal, like you might be doing that about what you want to have for dinner, right? Critical. And look, if the word criticism is only in the shadow for you, think critical thinking, critical writing, critical care unit. You want a critical care unit if you need critical care. They watch every blip on the screen, your blood oxygen levels, your pulse, your right? So a critical care unit, it's about the detail. So interesting that you go from that place of that Two of Cups, emotional freedom, and also this place of divine guidance, and with that card of burnout, can be moving very, very fast with that. To be a bit more focused, but focused critical of what? The higher self, the guardian angel, the true self. Now, are the soul and the higher self the same thing? I don't think so, but what the fuck do I know? I'm still in a body. Once we croak, we'll find all that out, and I'm sure we'll be forgiven the languages that we use, because we're guessing for the most part. Call faith what it is, hopeful guessing. I mean, and it doesn't mean you can't pour your heart into that too and enjoy the ride, but make sure what you are in alignment with is in alignment with your nature. In other words, how does it feel in your body? Does it match your honor code, right? Particularly if you're retreating, if you're doing this retreat into self-compassion and stuff, this can be a laser-like focus upon the guardian angel, the higher self. To me, the guardian angel is the higher self. Why in the world would an angel be following your shit around day and night, watching you shower, right? It's us. It's us, us on a higher level that chooses to incarnate, get this, all at once, all of our lifetimes simultaneously, because time is but an illusion from outside the game. Talk about unity consciousness. That's probably beyond fifth dimensional unity consciousness. That's probably more like sixth or seventh dimensional. I don't know. We'll find out when we croak. I'll meet you in the lounge. There better be a bar up there, at least when you first land, or ascend, or whatever it's called. Very, very interesting. We've got the horizontal line. The way I do this, if you watch the clarifier, we've got in your behind the past, that resolution through music or with music, the present with that Eight of Flames, burnout, again, very fast moving, or overcommitment with divine guidance, leading to that Nine of Blades, criticism, not being critical of your guardian angel or your higher self, or it being critical of you, but more of an intensive focus, which makes sense that at your core there is this Six of Cups emotional balance going on in a retreat, while you represent, you're being the high priestess as part of your nature and or in nature, with this new emotional stirring whirlpool freedom coming along. That makes a lot of sense. It's like, before I dive into that, I think I'm going to go talk to and be with my higher self. And I just caught this from Kahn the other day or last week or whatever. He's such a good spiritual teacher. He said that your breath is the higher self. I was like, oh snap. It made me breathe more. And I'm doing all this breath work, Wim Hof and rebirthing and all that stuff too. So just added a little extra company along with the breath work. Cool. Got 4 more positions. Let's look at number 7, which is the lesson. What are the gods the gods and the angels in this case, trying to teach you? What's the universal learning template, right? All right, the Three of Cups with romance. Excellent. Like I said, there are cards in these decks that'll come right out and say it. You are dealing with a romantic deal, right? A romantic contract, twin flame or soulmate, who knows? for this month in some way, shape, or form. Now, it's interesting, you go from the 2 here in your 5th position to the 3, bonding. This is about friendships and making emotional bonds. Remember, we all know the colloquial wisdom passed down from grandmother to grandmother, some of them, be friends first, right? Have the solid foundation. And I always say this when this card comes up in a romantic context, which it certainly has here in your lesson position, something Marianne Williamson wrote in A Return to Love. I had it in hardcover when it first came out. That's how old I am. She said, love is a rose. The stem is the friendship, the blossom, the romance. Remove the blossom from the stem, you have a thing of beauty that eventually withers and dies. Nurture the stem, the bud will grow, bloom, and blossom again and again and again and again and again, right? So that's part of your lesson here, is to really, really be friendly about this, because, man, do we deserve friends that are lovers, and man, are we more demanding of our lovers than our friends, right? If a friend doesn't call you when they say they're going to, we don't break up with them, right? So you can feel that path of true love lesson there. It's like, let's just be friendly, but, that's what friends with benefits is about. In other words, yes, I am attracted to you. Maybe this is already a friend in your life, but even if it's not, if it's somebody who's just walking in, the thing is, let me be friendly to myself by being friendly with you and not putting too much psychic weight on this, because that's when really the ego starts kicking in, right? It's about getting rather than being. And really, that's what we say, I want to be with somebody. It's like, no, you want to get somebody so you can cannibalize their energy, right? And don't freak out about that. That's what we've been taught. But that ain't the path of true love. The path of true love undoes all of that. Hey, it's a warrior's path. I didn't make it that way. I wouldn't have. I would have made it like a cruise ship. The Love Boat. Not so much the Poseidon Adventure. From the outside looking in, your 8th position is how others see you, how the world sees you on a horizontal trajectory, not vertical. That's what the reading is doing. You have got the 5 of Blades, the Hurricane. A lot of thought. A lot of thought. Mental storms, right? It is literally called the hurricane. So if a breath is a thought, what's a hurricane? It's a lot of thought. It can mean other people's thoughts too. It can very much be the toxicity of the well-meaning people in our lives. Well, if you want to get them, you better get her now. Well, if you're friends, you run the risk. Advice columns and blogs, and watch another 10,000 more readings. It's just going to add to the hurricane, no offense, but the safest place to be in a hurricane technically is in the eye of the storm. Keep it in the eye. I know, it's very 12-steppy. It's very Alcoholics Anonymous. Keep it in the eye, because the card that comes with this is the answered prayer. So from the outside looking in, though you may not see it, that's why this position is valuable to me. It's like, it shows me, because you can't see yourself the same way other people can. You literally have to jump out of your body to do that. Not even a camera or a mirror does it accurately. So amongst this 5 of Blades cacophony of thought, right? Let's see, 1, 2, you've got 3 air cards so far. Out of 8, that's not that much of a predominance, because you've got 3 air, 3 water, so got a balance there, some fire, right, 1, 2, 3. So this doesn't seem out of hand, but it might obscure that your prayer has been answered. Now, what prayer? Oh, he's the one, she's the one. They're the next one, right? Nobody lives forever. No relationship lasts forever. All that rises falls. All that lives dies. Without gain, there is no renewal. Without gain, there is no loss. Without loss, there is not gain. Without erosion, there's no renewal. It's Taoism. Look it up, right? Google it. But to kind of allow these thoughts to go around you. Thoughts are things. You don't have to identify with them, but it does feel like those who can see through the hurricane of thought that you might be perpetuating that. Honey, this is an answer to a prayer. Now, whether or not it is, you're going to find out whether it's an answer to your prayer, because it might just look like an answer to the prayer of what they pray for you, right? Let them be settled down. Well, that's what you're looking for, right? Oh, lots of people want to see me married. I'm like, why? Well, you're in your 50s now. I'm like, yeah, and purple hair and no wrinkles. I love being single. That's how you know you're not in a codependent relationship. What are the chances you're single? At least romantic, right? Now, this next position, number nine, is the position of destiny. Not telling you what your ultimate destiny is. A tarot card's not going to do that. No divination system's going to reveal that secret. That's a spoiler of cosmic proportion. But it's going to say where you are on the hero's journey in terms of alchemizing your fate, what's been handed to you, into the destiny that you came in to manifest in this life. So what you got? The Capricorn card with playfulness. Now, I can't think of two cards that are totally opposites of each other. The word playful doesn't usually enter my mind when I think of Capricorns. Now, no shade to Capricorns. I'm sure there are plenty of them if they have other placements. But someone with all planets in Capricorn, it's slow and steady wins the race. It's Saturn, right? It is the planet of hard knocks. It's the initiator, the teacher, the limiter, the boundary maker, all essential. The father of the zodiac, right? Cancer is the mother, its opposite sign, Capricorn, the father. So think Saturn, Cronus. Oh yeah, go look up the myth of Cronus, the father of the Olympians. Watch out for family dinner, just gonna say that. You never know who's gonna be on the menu, depending on who Rhea popped out today, right? So, with this friendliness, right? Where did that card go? Oh, right, with that Three of Cups, your lesson here, you might be dealing with something that is slow and steady wins the race. So you want to be playful about this. Don't make it so heavy. It's such a heavy card. Now, I love Capricorns. Like, work-wise, oh, let me work with the Capricorn. They're so long haul. But it can also mean, in terms of an answer to a prayer, this might be something long-term. But with playfulness, it's like, enjoy it. Don't project so much into the future. Now, I will be honest with you. Every Aquarian that I've been with, romantically as well as friends, yes, can certainly prognosticate into the future. They're usually very brilliant mentally, where they can strategize the fuck out of anything. And I'm not going to say predict what's coming, but think of all the different angles. If you can remain playful about this, this will be so much more fun and so much easier and be really... Or are you going to look for mistakes in the making where it looks like this might not be so? And are you doing it in a way to mother yourself? Right? Smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. Are you going to be, Joan Crawford or Carol Brady, right? Because what's the Carol Brady side of this? Nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. Well, there can be great joy in giving birth to this new relationship. And if it's long-term, it's long-term. Remember, nothing lasts forever, right? Egypt used to be a verdant jungle. Now it's a desert, right? Things change. But that does not mean that you cannot embrace your destiny as you go and say, you know what, I'm going to play the role that I'm meant to play here. And yeah, of course there are going to be bumps and knocks. And if it's twin flame, you're going to learn how to heal yourself and love yourself. If it's soulmate, you're going to help each other heal as you heal yourself. But with this answered prayer and this friendship with romance, this feels like keep it sunny, keep it funny, keep it gay, right? Like you can enjoy this. I mean, that Two of Cups is just smiling at me with that freedom card there. So it's good to see some earth in this deck. Yeah, this is the first earth card. And let's be clear, because it's Capricorn, sure, it could be somebody who's a Capricorn, sun, moon, rising, Venus, Pluto, who cares? But that's someone who might be a little serious, someone who might be a little slow and steady wins the race, who's hesitant to run up the mountain, because not even mountain goats run up a mountain, right? One patch of shale and down you go, right? Last position down. Let's see your outcome. Now, I will say the sixth position, this is in the clarifier, but I like to say it each time if I can remember. The sixth position and the 10th position, because they are future, nothing's written in stone, barely written in cardboard, right? So these are mutable, flexible, unless they're not, unless they're really something that is written, fated, F-A-T-E-D, in the script of your divine plan for this life, just something you incarnated that you can't change, but you have to live and grow through, then definitely that being playful thing. It's got to make this a lot easier. So let's see what this 10th position is, your outcome, keeping in mind a probability of it being mutable. Deception with new love. Now, Does not mean that this new love is not love. Can be, sure. That's what I mean about this being a mutable position. But it might be that you're not seeing as correctly that it is new love, that it's a new opportunity. So it can go either way. Now, that might be because of mistakes that you've made in the past, right? That's why to play along. All right, well, I just heard, if you're playing along, you're not investing your entire future in it. See what I'm saying? There might really be an opportunity here for you to have a new love experience, that limerent, high limerence. It's a wonderful word. It's sort of like that pink fog you go into and you meet somebody and it's mutual, and even when it's not mutual. But there is a biochemical component to that people can get addicted to, right? That's why people are serial monogamists, right? Or they'll just first date for that falling in love thing. You can be, if you can be addicted to an external chemical, why can't you be addicted to a chemical your body makes emotionally? Just research the hypothalamus. It's fascinating, sort of. So the thing here about deception, are you deceiving yourself or are you being deceived? I can't tell you. You know why? Because that's going to play out in different ways within the quantum field. And there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of you all, you Aquarians, you aqualungs, you big water bearers, right? But with that thing of that mother archetype, it's like you really have the opportunity to love yourself through this, no matter what happens. So you can say to that child of your heart, it's like, look, let's just have fun, kid. Let's see how this one goes. It doesn't mean we have to sleep with everybody else on planet Earth, but let's enjoy the romance. Let's play in this. Maybe we don't have to make it our one and only forever and ever and ever. How about we just play the game as written and see what happens? When you can mother the child of your heart that way, that child is up for anything. It's like, okay. It's like, look, if it sucks, we get cookies every day for a week. Okay, now it wants it to not work out, right? So there's a way of walking the path of true love fearlessly. And this is a really good opportunity. Now, like I said, that 6th and that 10th position, so that criticism card with guardian angel, which I would say don't skip that. Like, work with your guardian angel, your higher self. Like, research the higher self. Start talking to it. I call him, well, if I'm third and fourth dimensional Mark, then I speak to fifth dimensional Mark, or Mark 5 as I call him. But then as I become, he becomes Mark 6, Mark 7, and apparently they go all the way up and changing in names and shit, all the way through the 12th overtone of the 12th dimension. And then you jump the wall into purity of oneness, where there ain't no more names. So there's always a higher level. There's always a higher self. There's always a higher truth. So focus on that. Say, higher self, you're the only one I really need, and you're my breath, right? I need you now, right? Work with that and play with that too. Because we've got 2 more cards down. One from the voice of your higher self, the Whispers of Love Oracle. It's what I use this deck for. And I love this deck. It just like whacks you in the head sometimes, digging it big time. So take a nice deep breath. Consider this a clarifier as I ask the higher selves of all involved, please, just one card for this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love for March 2020. Just what's a whisper of love from you to them, dealing with this, romantic situation. Yes, they're trying to be compassionate with themselves, and they're the high priestess, so they may be wide open to hearing you, and that divine guidance may be burning them alive about this relationship coming up, even if it's all just in premonition, they're feeling it coming. So please, considering the guardian angel is in that 6th position with criticism, meaning an intense focus, please, one card for them. Higher selves of all involved. You have to keep talking until they go, now. Look at your pattern in relationships. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior. Why? Because you've made mistakes before, right? You trusted when you shouldn't have trusted. Well, really look at your patterns. Is this a different thing? Because you know why? You got this behind you, this resolution with music. It's like the end of a song, the thing resolved. This might be behind you. This might be a good thing, even if it's for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Everybody wants it to be a lifetime. Then you're stuck with somebody for the rest of your life. Stuck's not the rest word, but you know what I mean. That we can project onto a relationship something that maybe it's just for a reason or a season. That does not mean it's not a valid form of love or a valid experience on the path of true love, because every experience on the path of true love, no matter how we slice it, no matter how we judge it or anybody else judges it, it's valid. Fascinating. Look at your pattern in relationships, and what better for an Aquarius? Pull up and back. Look at them all, right? Look at them all. Go ahead, acknowledge your mistakes, but I really would ask your higher self, okay, higher self, if I can't screw up the divine plan, what did I learn from this? Or what do I need to learn from this? And sometimes just asking and then letting it go, it comes to you. It's just like, oh. Oh. And maybe they're all about mother. Or maybe they're all about you being the mother, and this one you get to play it differently, because there's definitely something more childlike here, but let's be clear. We've got a mother card and a father card on the table. Maybe there's an opportunity here for the child to enjoy itself in a healthy way, in a new beginning, because the child archetype in particular is all about new beginnings. So with the outcome of new love, with deception, of course the kid's going to be afraid. It's been deceived. You probably believed deceptions before. That's the innocence of the heart. We go through that. That's part of the path of true love too. You have to go through false love so that you know true love when you find it. But we'll see how this one goes. One more card left. And this is from the Healing Mantra deck by Kahn. Spoke about him before. Whoops. Yeah, one of his videos are in the description box below. Soul Contracts, Twin Flames, and Soulmates Redefined. Total game changer for me. Go watch it. It's really, really good. But this will give you a healing mantra for the month of March. I pick one of these a day, but then there are some that I know are like month-long, lifelong, some of them, because of how they resonate. So one side of the card is the mantra itself. The other side is the name of the mantra, so I can look it up in the itty-bitty bookie book, which is so good. So well written. So let's have a look, see-dooksy, at what the Ascended Masters have to say, what your healing mantra is. Breathe. Oh, that felt good. My Ascended Masters, please, one card, the perfect healing mantra. For this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love for March 2020, please, what is the perfect healing mantra for them for not just the month, but for perhaps where they are in this romantic relationship? Please. Look, there are no go fuck yourself cards in this deck. Matt Kahn's really cool. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Allowing appreciation. I think you'll like this. And this, I could see this being very healing with that, having made mistakes and deceptions and the doubt that sometimes comes along with that. The value of my life increases each time I appreciate everything in it. Right? So you're evaluating your own life, evaluating, you know, the mistakes that you've made, but the value of your life increases each time you appreciate everything in it. Even how about I appreciate my willingness to learn from my mistakes? Like, start there. I appreciate that I'm willing to look at that every relationship is teaching me something, and that every emotion I have is a message from the soul that I have to spend some time with to kind of get what the message is, right? And I think that's what this retreat into compassion is all about. So it feels like you're doing your healing, but what might be missing is that alchemical piece called appreciation. Now let me read it to you from the book. I like this one. Well, I think at this point I maybe have had all of them. Allowing appreciation. The value of my life increases each time I appreciate everything in it. When appreciation is allowed, everything is seen as a gift for the evolution of your soul, as we said. The more often you appreciate, the greater value you feel within your own life, which might very much be that Six of Cups compassionate retreat, to sort of do that, right? To sort of help you feel what's of greater value within your own life. While there is true worth in uncovering your life's purpose, most feelings of discontent are not caused by what you do or don't do, whether you go for this romance or not. They are created simply by a lack of perceived value in your environment. Instead of waiting for things to get better before you allow appreciation, you must be willing to acknowledge the value in all things. This will awaken the feelings of elation that are always alive within you. And that feels like that playfulness with that Capricorn card in your fate position. It's like, have fun with this. Just I really appreciate the way he or she smells. I appreciate how funny they are, and I appreciate the time that I spend with them no matter what happens. I appreciate that I get to get all fatutzed and dressed up to meet this person. I appreciate where we go, etc. This last little bit is helpful. This mantra is ideal for increasing worthiness, decreasing feelings of scarcity, and raising your vibration. Well, that's just really lovely. Allowing appreciation. The value of my life increases every time I appreciate everything in it. Let's get you an overview. We'll do a magic clap. I'll pop up the picture, and let's see if anything else jumps out at me. Cool, here we go. Magic clap. Well, we've got that mother archetype here, right? In the shadow, smothering, abandoning, you get the idea, guilt for kids becoming independent. The light attribute, nurturing, patient, which I think is really key for you here, mothering that child in yourself, giving it the unconditional love because it's made mistakes. And who hasn't? How come this kid doesn't get love? Because it made mistakes. Where everybody... Parts of us that feel like they've made mistakes need more love and compassion, not less. And of course, now as we bear out this spread here, it is apparent that right now where you are in that first position, the high priestess with nature, perhaps it is your nature to pull back, go into the divine, go into your more spiritual aspect, but also more importantly, your secret, hidden wisdom and your intuition. In the situation with divine guidance, it might be that this romance has come into your life like a firestorm, right? Like a forest fire, just this blazing passion, but that it's divinely guided, which we all say we want until it shows up and it scares the crap out of us. Hence the need there for that Six of Cups emotional retreat into the self, to do the healing, to bring yourself into balance. Why? Because in the recent past year, we already have a mental resolution. Perhaps you saw the pattern. Just reflexing quickly to that look at your pattern in relationships, maybe that's saying you kind of do that, you've kind of done that already, look at that again, but get that you need to recognize that there's something you need to change or modify in your behavior and maybe in your thought patterns of how you're seeing this. Because with that card of music there, maybe it's something that really has had its crescendo and its finale and is now done. Giving you the opportunity now for this emotional freedom, right? That Two of Cups in that crowning position that's coming in. The emotional freedom to say, all right, let's see where the whirlpool takes us, right? To be a little insouciant, which means carefree. I love that word, insouciant. But then it will come to that Nine of Blades, perhaps some overthinking, but do remember to call in the higher self, the guardian angel, or make it about, okay, higher self, I'm in this whirlpool, I really like this person, there's some stuff going on here, it's an attraction, feels like it's divinely guided. What should I do? Right? Let me spend time. Let me breathe. Let me focus on my higher self so that I can decode some of these emotions that I'm feeling as they're healing. And whether or not I am being deceived or following my true guidance, that's an unfolding process. Because here in your lesson is that emotional bonding, the Three of Cups with romance. This is a romantic contract, whether it's twin flame or soulmate, not indicated in this spread. It's probably 50-50 across the quantum collective of the Aquarians here, but that to get that this lesson is for me to kind of be friendly here. It's the Three of Cups. We go from the 2 to the 3. That's a lovely progression, but let the bonds be created in a friendly, and I'm going to say this again, playful way, because from the outside looking in, it's a hurricane of thought, right? That's a lot going on there. A hurricane, probably a lot of people's ideas. Well, maybe this is somebody who has returned from the past, that people might be like, well, this is how it went before. So there might be a lot of story, a lot of narrative. Oh, that's a good word for that. A lot of narrative about this. While those who are able to see to the eye of the hurricane, right? Those who are able to stand in the eye of it all, the still point at the center, can experience this really as an answered prayer, or at least it looks that way from the outside in, which brings you to your card, 9th position, Destiny there, of the Capricorn with playfulness. Like I said, Capricorn's not usually considered playful, but certainly slow and steady wins the race. Play the game, but it's not a race, right? Play the game, it's not a foot race, it's not a race. It might be more like chess, but, remember, we've got that 8 of Flames burning away in your your cross position. So the environment might be a lot of very fast-moving stuff. So perhaps slow it down in a playful way to savor it and enjoy the fun parts of it more. Because your outcome position, the 10th there, is deception with new love, that maybe you don't want to see it new love, maybe you're deceiving yourself about it new love, or maybe you are being deceived in this new relationship, this romance in some way, shape, or form. But I feel like with what you've been through here, with these mistakes that have made before, you got to use that to your advantage. And if it is true that even if you are intuitively feeling that way, you still have to look at your pattern in relationships. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior, but then to appreciate where you are, right? Allowing appreciation. The value of my life increases each time I appreciate everything in it. And by the way, that is everything in it, including the mistakes that we made, including the deceptions we've been put under by others or have put on ourselves. Because really, path of true love is totally worth it. But keeping in mind that mother archetype, you can mother that child who has made these mistakes, who are maybe terrified of being deceived or perhaps want to do the deceiving. Aquarians, what can I tell you? There it is. An intense read, and probably a long one too. I don't watch the clock while I do these. But a lot for you to consider. By all means, be the Aquarian fixed air signs that you are. Pull back and see this from a higher place, particularly with that guardian angel. If you can see all of this from the point of view of your soul or your higher self, I think this deception will become apparent, whether it's you or someone else. But remember, that's at the end of the spread. Might take a while to play out. Maybe this month, maybe next, we'll see. Cool, cool? Well, may the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed in their path of true love journey for March. May they heal, may they grow, may they become the best that they can be, and may this romance be a blessing upon their life, no matter what the outcome is, for the well-being of all. And so it is. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment below. I never get to know really what's going on in these unless somebody comments and tells me, and I kind of get off on that a little bit. Otherwise, it's like watching a movie and not seeing the ending, right? Like you get halfway through When Harry Met Sally, and then you don't know how it ends. Let's not go there. That being said, I am doing Drunk Tarot tonight. I hope you will check it out then and there. If not, we'll be doing those once a month. And thank you for supporting my channel, my subscribers. I love you all so much. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed on the path of true love for March 2020. My aqualungs, my aquariums, my water bearers. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.